today, if you don't agree with a way of doing things, you are a white supremacist. Now, what does that mean? Or if you don't believe in a particular kind of ideology, a particular kind of anti-racist ideology, the third wave anti-racists, then you are racist. So it's a very binary way of thinking about things. And it almost kind of eliminates the issue of intent. Why is someone saying what they're saying, or what is their intention in saying it? So what I find is happening is that we're becoming incredibly literal-minded in our times. What does that stem from in your reading?
What that stems from is this. This is another one of those things where it's the emperor with no clothes. It's not the intent that matters, it's the impact. It's how I feel. Any person with an IQ over 25 knows that the next question, though, is suppose the person took it the wrong way. Suppose what the person intended is not something that any reasonable person would think would have that impact. Human interaction is nuanced. Human interaction is complex. Anybody knows that by the time they're about 5. But we're trained not to ask any questions about that and just say, okay, only the impact matters. The reason that a certain kind of Black person cherishes that little trick is because too many of us fall under the impression that the most significant thing about being Black is to be somebody who suffers. So the idea is that oppression is an identity. It's a badge of purpose. It's a badge of significance. It gives you a sense of fellowship with other people. This is something that any human being might seek. If you're a Black person, one way that you seek those things, if you feel them lacking, is based on the idea that you are an eternal sufferer of racist abuse. And therefore, the idea becomes, it wasn't your intent. If I took it as racist, then it was. And you, therefore, are a racist, and I'm suffering under your depredations. The reason a certain kind of person finds that kind of interchange attractive is because it's soothing. It gives a kind of comfort. And so I can be impatient with that kind of person sometimes. I have all of my life, but I've always tried to think where that's coming from is not somebody being manipulative. It's not somebody who is trying to accrue resources to themselves. They're not assholes, which is what I think a lot of people think. An asshole is a very specific word. They're not assholes. They are seeking warmth. They are seeking significance. They're seeking comfort. And don't we all? It's just that there is one way you can do that as a Black person, not because of your Black genes. I can hear a certain person pretending to think that's what I mean. Not because of your Black genes, but because of how we have been taught to think about race in this country and the configuration that there is, the dance that whites and Blacks in particular do that Shelby Steele so artfully described. Because of that dance, a Black person can fall into taking advantage of that victimhood complex as a way of feeling okay. You can't hate somebody who's trying to feel okay. That's what all of those people are doing. However, they're doing it on the basis of something that creates a great deal of mendacity in society. And with the current mood, lives are being destroyed on the basis of things that are rooted in what begins as the fact that an awful lot of Black people, especially after our history, have needed artificial ways of feeling good about themselves. This goes back to the late 60s. That's when this starts. And it's completely understandable. But there are times when we have to start getting honest, as gently but firmly as possible. That time has come. Something happened in June of 2020 where that dance stops just being an interesting fashion that you might walk by and cluck your tongue. That dance has become something that is destroying lives, that is threatening to distort the psychology of children, that is making us into just a lesser society of persons than we could be. And somebody has to start standing athwart this and yelling stop. And it has to be more than one somebody. And I think it's starting to happen.
So I really